But how was you coming from work?
Yeah. I was working the day, made that day, got about around 5:30, and then I was got to go to football tonight. So these
Oh
Bama,
dang,
they
you
kind
got
of
a full
move it.
schedule. You got a full schedule, don't you, bro?
Yeah, man, I got to hustle, Hitch. You know that.
That's
You know
what's
that's
up.
part of the deal. I can't say how I get my picture out. If I close my picture, will I still be there? Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm good. All right, now I'm good.
Okay, all right. All right, this is Jimmy Hitchcock and Marcus Wall on the Hitch and Wall show. We got Omar Brown, one of the best safeties to ever come out
Give me
of
my
North
theme
Carolina.
music. I needed
Yeah,
my turn the
yeah,
TV off. Turn the TV
you
off.
need theme music. You know what I'm saying? But one of the best safeties ever come out of North Carolina, big time hitter. Played for the Falcons, end up beating us in the NFC Championship game. I'll never forgive him for that. But this guy right here, one of the most in shape people in the world.
Yeah,
he gonna do his thing in the gym, that's for sure.
yeah.
You know, and
About my
this
fitness, man.
this guy played with the intensity, crazy intensity, big time hits. I don't know if y'all remember him. I'm sure you do though, because you can't forget these hits. It's Omar Brown. Welcome to the Hitch and Wall podcast, bro.
Well, thanks for having me, fellas. Thanks for having me. You know, it's an honor. You know, you guys, both of you. You know, when I came into Chapel Hill, you were two of the guys I looked up to right away. You know, you both had a presence about you. You did things the way the way you did them on your time, and when we came up, it was like everybody trying to find out who do you feel like represent you more like you, and both of you guys stood out to me right away when I showed up in Chapel Hill. So I'll
Yeah, I
always
appreciate that,
give y'all
man.
props for helping us and building, helping me chart that course, because it was difficult coming from growing up how we grew up, coming to a place like Chapel Hill. You had to find some kind of people that
Right,
was similar to you, be like, how I'm gonna navigate this shit, because it was
right,
different.
right. Yeah, it was a cultural shock to me too, man. Just seeing all the different people, and you got all those rich kids out there. Some of them driving Benzes to school. I was stunned when I got to school because I was a cultural misfit. But the first thing that I remember about you, the first time I heard your name, and I told the story on a prior podcast, is when Coach Bruce Johnson said to me, "I got a dude that's coming in. His name's Omar Brown. He gonna replace you. I'm gonna replace you with him. He gonna start before you. I'm gonna put him in front of you, Jimmy Hitchcock, because you out here marching and doing your thing, doing you know." So he told me right away, I'm gonna play a freshman in front of you, and that was gonna be my senior year, and I was going, I'm thinking about getting drafted, and he talking about putting you in front of me. Boy, I was hot.
I'm sure you was. I'm sure you was.
I was hot.
The,
So I
the,
was like,
cra-
this dude must be good.
the crazy thing about that story, Hitch, though, is because I was being recruited by Georgia Tech, and I'll never
Wow.
forget this. Bill Lewis
Yep.
came to me and was like, "Why would you go to North Carolina? They got players like Jimmy Hitchcock not even playing. He's one of the best fucking athletes in." So it was one of those things where it's like he was
Right.
scaring me off of coming to Carolina because of people like you, and you know what I mean. So it's how it is. It's like
Right.
they find what they can find to try to motivate you, or let you know like, hey, this is it's everyone's replaceable, and we learned that though in that game. That's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
vicious. It's
It's a
always
vicious,
another
one of the most vicious sports and one of the most cutthroat sports in all of the sports arena, because nothing happens like it happens in the NFL.
no.
One day you there, next day you gone. And
Right.
it's just like that. It's
I
just
tell
like that.
people all the time, it's like, however many players there are in the NFL is what, 50, 30, 32 teams, 53 players. So you got somewhere around 16, 1700, 1800, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I tell people it's not the best necessarily 17 or 1800 football players. It's the ones that happen to be able to take advantage of that opportunity, and it all has to work right. because I've seen guys, I played with guys 5, 6 years in. I'm like, he got 6 years in, and
like
like
he's terrible, right?
like what the hell? And then
Terrible.
you see other guys come through there, and you like, man, they get cut. So you never know. Like, yeah, it's a lot. It's so much.
It's some politics. It's some politics in it because they figure, hey, we drafted this guy, so we got to give him more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we don't look like a fool.
Look,
you know
like,
what I'm saying?
Exactly. You got to make yourself look good, right?
Right.
So,
don't forget now they also have the team snitch too. Now they always have one or two that they only on that roster just for that. That is their job,
bro. I'm gonna tell you something. Go ahead.
To be the camaraderie guy, like just like I think back to like after being 50 now and going through life and all.
Right.
If I knew that show up with the lunch pail guy and just be one, I would have played my fucking part. Played
that role to stay in the league, right?
That lunch pail, show up a little early, leave a little late. I see it in the Cooper world. I'm like,
these dudes doing it. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, man, like I saw a bunch of them through my time, a bunch of them, and then I couldn't keep my mouth shut because I just couldn't deal with the craziness. Like I'm gonna tell this story. Two of my teammates during the playoffs when I was with Minnesota, they called for Denny Green asked us, "Hey, do y'all want to practice this? Because we got a bye week. Do y'all want to practice?" Right before the Arizona game, we was playing this in the playoffs, and two guys said, "Yes, we should practice." Those two guys went and played golf.
Wow! And
during that time, the whole it fractured the entire team. That's why we lost against y'all, because our team was fractured after that.
Yeah, y'all should have beat the hell out of us.
We should have beat y'all. Yeah.
So you should have won a Super Bowl.
We should have won a Super Bowl that year, right? But those two guys went off and played golf, and the entire team came and practiced, and they were pissed off. And these were two of our best guys. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it kind of fractured the team. And I'm just saying, like, it's just the NFL is just about kind of, who fits in where and things like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not what it cracks up to be sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
I always wondered about like especially you, right? Hitch, you always was you wore your feelings on your sleeve. You was outspoken. You wasn't going like how like, especially you was in New England with Belichick, who's just like, this ain't, football only type guy, right? We leave all that political shit or, anything.
Oh, I was not political with Bill.
Yeah. And then you go with Denny Green, who was like a player's coach, right? One of the boys, somebody that, black coach in the NFL at the time. I'm sure that had to be tough, being one of the few, and trying to play both sides of, can't be too black, could be Dion.
Right.
But at the same time,
you can't be. I just put all of that to the side because I had a family to feed. You know what I'm saying? But I used to, when I played in North Carolina, and I was really hot that they took Philip Morris and stuff out of North Carolina, and I used to wear a tobacco shirt. You know what I'm saying? When I played in North Carolina, I used to wear a tobacco shirt because it devastated our community when Philip Morris left North Carolina, you know what I'm saying, and went overseas. Yeah. So just I did some things like that, but I try to stay, on the up and up as far as politically, because they'll kick your ass out of the league.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Yeah,
they'll kick your ass out of the league quick.
You know what I mean? I mean, he was like, he was struggling a little bit at the time, but he was the face of a franchise, and they was able to be like, hey, let's just keep that shit quiet. You got to be really, really good to be able to pull that off and stay in that league, I think. Or, anywhere, any job, you got to, like, if you're going to cause a fuss, you better, because it's polarizing, right? So if you're going to polarize and make half the people hate you, you better be damn good that the other half is paying double for you. You know what I mean? It's
and a quarter of the team going to hate you too. You know what I'm saying? True. A quarter of the team gonna hate your stance, your political stance, or half the team may hate your political stance, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I went through. We were Kaepernick before Kaepernick. in Carolina, Tim, John, Malcolm, Summer Riddick, he was in and out. But we were Kaepernick before Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying? We were very political when I was on campus. I was super political. I was gonna give it up for I was.
Was it young in anger? Like, Walt, what was your perception on that? Like looking at Hitch and all them doing that, you just coming there.
See, I thought it was more of awareness and then breaking through the wall, because it started with conversation first, right?
Right, exactly.
And then being ignored or either pushed to the side made them decide, all right, we'll amp it up more.
Exactly.
So I thought it was a worthy cause. Mm-hmm. The difference between them and me, it was like, this is all I got at this moment. Mm-hmm. And when Coach Brown was like, well, if y'all do that, we're not playing. You're not playing.
Right.
I can't tell my mama I gotta go home. I can't play.
Right.
Like I gotta be to this seat right here. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it was a great experience to look at, to be a part of for momentarily, and also to now at this grown age to be able to see, you know what? A stance is a stance. Mm-hmm. And if you want something from it, then you have to be able to stand on what you believe in. And I thought it was a worthy cause. Which
they put that building out, didn't they?
They got a whole building and everything.
We got a build. It's a room named after me in there. You know what I'm saying? So it was for a worthy cause, and we did some worthy things, but we got a lot of backlash from it, bro.
No, I'm sure.
I'm talking about piles and piles of letters of death threats and the whole nine.
Right.
And I was so stunned that the death threats was there. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we're talking a little about politics because I think that it's relevant now because, right now we're in a situation politically in America where it's very divisive. But at that time, it was very similar on that campus to what it is right now in America.
Right.
Very similar politics, because we had a bunch of hate on the one side because we were fighting for a Black Cultural Center, and then we had the love of the students on campus. So it was that dichotomy, and we were able to go around the country and stir up other campuses as well. And like at NC State, we got African American Cultural Center instituted there. We went to A&T and got African Studies instituted there. We went around the country doing this, man. It was crazy how we spoke at various places like Vassar College and things like that. So that's on the political side. I don't know how we went down that road, but yeah, that was a great time, and it was a phenomenal experience. Looking back on it, and we used to throw up the X after a tackle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We used to throw up the X.
So is that where, like, I thought it was a rude boy thing?
It wasn't even rude boy. We started it. Nah, that wasn't rude boy. Yeah, we changed it. I changed it to that sign for the rude boy.
This is really right. What it was.
That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was the X, Malcolm X.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where we started it. You know what I'm saying? Because I started every time I would hit somebody real, I'd throw up the X, and it became the rude boy.
Too. That's why.
It became the rude boy sign after that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we can get back to football now. But that was good. That was a good conversation about that. But go ahead, Wall. Go ahead.
Oh, all right, real quick. Before we even get into our normal questions, coming from PA, right? And being in North Carolina, tell us a little bit about the difference of football in Pennsylvania, high school football in Pennsylvania versus North Carolina.
The biggest thing to me is, so I came from a York, Pennsylvania, small, relative mid-sized city, smaller size city.
Right.
And our high school sports was very like we had the city school, which was Black, and then all our suburban schools was like all white for the most part. You played like Central, Spring Grove, and I would say where when you came, I feel like where we played, it was a little more like old school ball, like, slow.
Right.
You had a white guy playing quarterback, your traditional type, football. We don't run, we
Right.
ran the wishbone. We ran the
Okay.
wishbone.
Wow.
And we were good. And there was definitely programs in Pennsylvania that was really good. And I think coaching was well, but I think North Carolina, I remember coming on my visit. It was they had the state championship in Chapel Hill.
Right.
And it was like Jason Peace. I remember since Jason Peace was playing quarterback for Northern Durham.
Yep.
And they were playing a little team with a little bad motherfucker running the option against them. I don't know his team. He was tough.
He was crushing them. Yeah, I was at that game.
He was good too, because I was like, God, who is that? And they was like, he only a sophomore. I was like, man. So, honestly, I think North Carolina, from a depth standpoint, definitely is like big, like better than Pennsylvania now. And then the whole northern flight, like a lot of black folks in the Northeast were they moved to the South, right?
To the South, yeah.
Like went back, they moved up, now they moving back. So you got North Carolina, which is like expanding and growing at crazy rate, and it's probably will have a bigger population in Pennsylvania soon. And athletically, it's kind of the I think it works better. You know what I mean? I think with but coming up, I would say our football was like physical, definitely physical, but more prodding, slow, I think decently coached, and we had good quarterbacks, you know what I mean? So I think that goes back to like schemes and all that. But I think just from a raw athlete standpoint, I think North Carolina, that was part of the reason why I didn't want to go to Penn State. Like I pretty much was supposed to be a Penn State guy. I had two guys from my high school already at Penn State, another guy from my league at Penn. Like it was kind of like a afterthought. You go to Penn State, you're good at York, you go to Penn State, and they take care of you though. They my little area, they show up at Penn State. You go through on Saturday, them most got signs up, go to state, state. Yeah, I'm going to state. So that was what everybody was expecting. But I definitely think Pennsylvania is probably at the time was close to North Carolina, or maybe equivalent overall. But now North Carolina is like probably one of the top 5-6 states in the country for high school sports. It's just
it's just so many people moving to North Carolina. It's unreal.
And the way the sports world is now, it's a year-round thing, so the weather's a little more conducive in North Carolina, and it's a middle class thing. You can't even be poor and really play sports anymore, man. It's
crazy, right?
Of the game has become like professionalized in a sense with the 7-on-7. So you need to be able to travel. You need to have specialized training. These kids are so skilled. Like literally, their skill level is like. How many times will we see a person catch a one-hand, like a one-hand catch when we
not often.
Not all.
Now it's like every week, and people say I think it's the reps. They just get so many reps.
Yeah.
So they just get better at it. So
I agree. Like North Carolina's becoming similar to what Florida used to be when they were so far ahead of everybody else. It was 7-on-7s there going back to when I was in college. Right. It was people were doing 7-on-7s in Florida way back then. You know what I'm saying? And then it was year-round training. Yeah. So you got them cats like Warren Sapp, you know what I'm saying, Brooks coming up out of there. They was just monsters.
Just different level. Yeah.
Yeah, just a different level of play because they were
everything.
Smart, athletic, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? The whole nine. But one thing. Go ahead. Okay, one thing I wanted to ask you though is your transition from corner to safety. What was that like? Did you have problems with it?
I wouldn't say I had problems with it. It was more of a, it was one of those things where, first of all, you're like, fuck, am I not good enough? Am I not? Because you want to be a corner, right? I was a corner. I thought I was decent at corner.
Oh, you was good.
And they were like, we're going to move you to safety. And I knew we had ET and we had Boyd. And I was like, what? Like, shit, it's supposed to be my time to get on the field now.
Right.
I mean? This is like, I'm competing there. So more than anything, it was like, I was just like, damn, am I going to play? That's when you start questioning yourself. Like, I'm not good at corner. They must like Terry better than me at corner. and then they got so they moved me to safety. So I'm start questioning myself. But it was Coach Johnson kind of reassured me. He said he gonna play the best. He's like, we're trying to get the most athletic group we can in the back four, and we just feel like this might be able to get us to that way. But if you earn it, you're gonna play. And I was just like, well, I'm going out here and I just
fired up.
Yeah. It was really after you. I took after Hitch. Right. I was like, I'm just gonna go out here and hit because I knew that's what you was doing. Bracey was a hitter, and when you was hit,
knocking them out.
Go out here and hit. And the dumbest thing I did, though, I put on them little ass shoulder pads you would wear. I fucked my shoulders up that spring. Trying to hit everything while Hitch out there with the little ass shoulder pads.
Yes,
and I was like, hit them too. Man, my shoulders was all fucked up with the little shoulder pads. I said, I better go get me some.
Get you some big boy pads, huh?
Yeah.
No, man. I used to play in the smallest pads I could play in. I used to take the cushions out, the whole everything. I just be just straight raw.
Our pads were like why you see
right. You look at them now.
Like, damn, y'all shoulder pads is like
hell yeah, small, like little. Yeah. I used to. I had to be as fast as I could on the field, man. I couldn't maneuver in those big pads, and they ain't feel right. So.
And one of the good things about Carolina, though, which was awesome, like ET would like, and I don't think many other people would do this. He would tell me the defense. You know what I mean? Even though we were competing against each other, he never was on some like, try to be on some other stuff. Like we was always still cool, and that's. You got a guy, and they had a whole class, right? Boyd, Flea, and E. They was tight, and they always supposed to be going onto the field together. And at no point in time did ET ever have animosity or like, he was always just like, go eat, do your thing. You know what I mean? Helping us get the defense, and he was solid with that. So
that's how we all were. That's how we all were.
That's the sign of a winner, though, right? Because when you know what winning is and you know that feeling, you try to make sure everybody around you is good.
Right.
Because you're only as good as your one play until you can't play, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you want that next guy to either beat you out or when it's his time to make a play. So that's winning ways.
I took that whole spirit to the pros. And that's not the spirit you should have in the pros, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a dog-eat-dog type of world in the pros. But I took it to the pros, and I would be like, yo, like, this is what you do in this coverage, and this is what you do in that coverage, and dudes would be like, yo, why are you telling them that?
Like don't take your job.
That dude trying to take your job, bro. Like, why don't talk to him? You know what I'm saying? They be pulling me to the side like, yo, bro, like this is the pros. Like, you don't help nobody. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be like, yo, if you're gonna beat me out, you're gonna beat me out. You know what I'm saying?
What was do you know what killed like the NFL? I felt like was always the toughest thing for me. Was I lost confidence early in the NFL. Like I got there and I felt like looking back, I feel like guys if you have that confidence and you like truly have it, I've seen guys outplay who they really could be. And like I try to say, like tell my son this, courage and confidence. Like if you can like have those two things at all the time, you ain't afraid of nothing. And not like courage, like I'm gonna beat anybody up, but not afraid to like lose. Because sometimes you won't take a chance on something because you're afraid you're gonna lose, right?
Right.
Exactly.
You're not afraid to lose. You're not afraid to like somebody's gonna say no. Like in my job now, I'm in sales, so I do a lot of cold calling. I call brokers. I'm constantly calling brokers, and it's cold. And sometimes people can be vicious. You know what I mean, or not really be as responsive as you want. And it's like two ways to take that. You're like you could take that personally, or you like. I'm like, fuck him. Sometimes I look them up just to see how goofy the fuck they are in real life. I Google them. Let me see what this is. Then I see, I'm like, goofy, man. Calling the next dude. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you gotta like just like no. And I swear, like in the NFL, for some reason, I lost my confidence early, and my coach he wasn't the type that would build your confidence. He would like, your ass gonna be cut. Like he was trying to tell me you gonna be out of it. He was threatening me with cutting me like
Right.
I'm like,
every
dog.
2 seconds.
But
Yeah.
you're afraid to try to even make a play because you're like this, like
Yeah.
damn. So you're trying to go be so like by the book. You limit yourself to your ability to make a play because you're trying to do everything.
Because you're
like
trying to
so
do everything by the book.
Yeah.
But that's that nature of the beast, right? To where their job is to say it's high pressure situation. This is what's coming. You make a decision and you go at it. If you second guess it, that has nothing to do with me. It has to do with you. And obviously, you're not the guy I'm looking for because you continue to second guess yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's a rough spot to be, man. It is a rough spot.
On either side, right? Because even as a coach, you know, if he doesn't do it, then your ass is out of there. So you got to somebody quicker.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's a reason why it's hard to make get to that league. If it was easy,
that's right? I think that's the biggest hindrance for a lot of athletes, because like I went through it too, man. Like my first year, they had me at number 2 on the depth chart in the spring when I was number 2 behind Mo Hurst.
Right.
And when I got to camp, they put me at number 7, bro.
Oh yeah, you're like, what? Am I even going
number 7?
And you were drafted,
and I was drafted 3rd round.
Damn.
Coach Parcells got me number 7.
Right.
I said, what the hell? So I started getting fractured right there. My confidence started waning. You know what I'm saying? And I started second guessing myself and things like that. Yep. And he was yelling at me at all times. I mean, worse than Coach Johnson yelling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I started losing my confidence. And then the next year, in year 2, I played okay in that year. Year 2, I come in, I play a couple of snaps, I get a couple of picks, but by the end of the year, they yelling, they telling me I'm doing this wrong, doing that wrong, everything's, and nitpicking at everything about my game, talking about my stance and the whole nine. Like, my stance, bro, like what? Like I know how to get in a stance, but I'm a different dude. Like I can wait all the way to the snap and boom, I can get out my pedal, right? You know what I'm saying? But you need to be lined up this way. Da, 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 da. So then they end up benching me, and I didn't play in that Super Bowl. And that crushed me, man. You know what I'm saying? But when Pete Carroll came in the next year, I said, I'm gonna beat everybody out. I know Pete brought somebody with him, but he said he was going to start. I said, no, I'm going to beat him out. I told Pete to his face, I'm going to beat this guy out. You know what I'm saying? And he kept trying to replace me with this guy all year, but I kept having good games. You know what I'm saying? So he had to keep me in the game. I built my confidence, and then the next year I go to Minnesota and I explode. Have a great year. But you have to get through the confidence, but sometimes the coach don't let you.
Yeah. But it's confidence. If I could give any young brother going to the NFL like advice, free agent, first round, whatever, be confident, try to carry that. And it's hard because you go into a room full of alphas, and they're all like, and they're trying to eat you up because they're insecure, right? They know it's 3 and it's 90 to start, and only 53, and they know like shit. How can I do anything I can do to make sure I'm one of them 53? I tell people all the time, and like in my sales jobs, I said, imagine it's like 10 of y'all, right? And it's only 10 offices, and every day you come to work, they interviewing 3 people, and ain't no more offices coming. So if they hire one of y'all asses,
you gone. Your ass out the door. Your ass out the door.
So you check your numbers.
Your ass is out the door. They bringing somebody in every week to replace you.
I come over to the facility. I remember on a Tuesday, and I see guys working out. I'm like, "Who's working out?" It'd be like 2 safeties, and I know, I'm a football junkie, so I'm like, the boy that was at the Steelers, and then I'm like, shit, they add him, they got to get rid of one. So they know, like, okay, we're gonna bring one and keep you. No, it's one, So,
when they bring one, they send one home.
They send one home. It's ain't no expansion there. Yeah,
the thing that I would say, OB, is when you get back to your place at the end of the day, you go back home, you got to kill the negative thoughts.
Right.
All the negative thoughts that come to your head, you got to try to crush them, because those negative thoughts make you into a coward.
right.
And when you playing like a coward, you can't perform at your highest level. So I would always every day understand that I got a coward in me that I got to crush every single day. I got to crush that. I got to crush that coward. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I approach every day is I know that I got a coward in me that can get fractured and get a little upset or off my game or a little frazzled. I'm going to crush that dude every day. And I understand that that dude's going to resurface all the time. And that confidence is going to start waning all the time. And I got to keep crushing them. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I would say. I would say to young dudes is crush the coward. Because it's in you. It's in every one of us.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's just special type of people like a Kobe and a Jordan. But even they have that coward in them.
Yep.
But they are so passionate about crushing them and making, that work ethic a part of their lives that, that's unmatched. You know what I'm saying? That work ethic is just unmatched. But absolutely, man. Those are some great words. But let's get back to some Carolina talk. What was your fondest memory or funniest moment at Carolina?
Funniest.
You got a bunch of either on campus, on the field, in the locker room, wherever.
It's just I think the best thing about Carolina to me was just hanging out on the yard sometimes. It'd be like the middle of the day and campus, and it was a wild thing because we thought we was the center of the goddamn universe. I tell you
right.
And you couldn't tell us we wasn't the center.
Yeah, that's right.
Like so, and we had this like camaraderie and just it was like we go there and you see your peoples and you talk and we was all still handling our business and that was the hardest thing. Like it wasn't like people think they gave us grades and shit at Carroll. They didn't do that.
Not with Omsr Brown, man.
And those people we went to school with were the best of the best at their high school. Like it's like
right.
But just to when we would be out there, and I'm like we're competing on this level with these folks. And still playing football. And these is valedictorians, some of the smartest, of the the top 2-3 of their high school. And we're out here, we're in class with them. And once we got comfortable, we would sometimes even outshine those kind of folks in any, in the academic side. But I think just being with the boys out on the campus, just, doing like sitting out in front of the library, talking shit and, having a blast. That's the kind of things that I think stick with me the most of that experience. And it's so hard as a dad having kids that had I would go on these visits with my girls to these different colleges.
You were thinking about you. You were thinking about you. You were thinking about you.
We had a unique experience. I'll tell you. Right. I went to University of Arizona. I ain't see a black person for 2 days. I was like, it's a minority.
Wow. Wow.
Black. Yeah, no. I'm like, damn, and they don't have AKAs and
right. They don't have Greeks.
We had the full Greek system. So we had almost like it was like a PWI almost with the HBCU within it.
Within the campus, right?
So we could get all the different relationships. We got the full gamut of what they say that the experience of a black person. It's so easy to put them in a box, but we actually are everything. Every type of person there is it in the black. We are as black people. We got at Carolina. I remember I would call home yo, they really got Rudy Huxtable down this bitch. They really got people at the school with us that are truly come from a good 2-family house. Right. Yo, I was thorough by that. I was like, Rudy Rudy Huxtable and lock in. That was
Right.
Yo,
You locked down Rudy Huxtable.
yeah,
I mean, I was thinking the same thing, bro.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I would just say probably that, and then just our time with the Florida State game was unique. Y'all was gone, but that almost
y'all beat them
wrong. But when we came back, so this is how they showed us that we hadn't seen the new building, right?
Right.
So we had never been in the new stadium piece, the piece that was done. We was coming from the old field house to the new. They was building it. So the day before we played Florida State is the first time we saw that. So I think Matt put us, we do. So we in there looking at the locker room, we going crazy, like this is lit. And then the next day we come and they got game day there. Cause you do the walkthrough Friday when we finally saw it. And then we come in for the game. They got game day there. They throwing oranges. It's lit. I'm talking lit. Wow. I got that interception.
Yeah, I remember that game, man.
Early. I guess the second
I remember that game.
I come to the sideline. I got every one of my homeboys. I don't know how they got in. I had 4 tickets, Wall. I had 25, 30 kids. People,
you already know how it works.
They was all in the student section.
Find your way to the student section, dog.
They like, they tell me that story. Like, man, that time we came down there for that Florida State game. Yeah, we had a blast. But that week, that whole game. Like I remember, me and Brian had a geology class, like a lab, geology, geometry, something. And the professor was telling us.
Sims.
Was it Dr.
I don't know who it was, but he told us that we beat Florida State, we good. Don't worry about it. I swear to God. And we was kind of doing the work, but we wasn't doing the work. We played Florida State late. It's November 4th or something.
Right.
We lost, and that Monday we rolled around the class, and he was like, make sure you get them labs in. I was like, oh, man,
man. Them days.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I wasn't saying that.
So listen, what were your top 5 schools, and then why did you choose Carolina?
My top 5 was I visited. I took a visit to BC. It's when Tom Coughlin was there. They was decent. Yeah. As soon as I left, I said, he a drill sergeant. I ain't going up there. My mom liked him. I visited UCLA because I wanted to see Cali. And I took a trip out to UCLA and went to the visit. We walked around the campus. And then for some reason, Coach Moses, he put me with a dude from Compton as my host. This Bama took me to a party in Compton. Like, to see Baywatch. He's like, and he told me there's some gangsters in here, but they ain't tripping right now. I'm like, get the hell out of here. I was like,
that's crazy.
State was, it's close to home. It's an easy deal. That was nice, decent trip. And then Georgia Tech. Okay. And when I went to Georgia Tech, I had a good time. I was hanging with Lethan Flower. They had a whole group of boys from PA. They called themselves the Tech 9. So there's a whole bunch of PA boys, Lethan Flowers, a bunch, but they was Western Pennsylvania over to Pittsburgh. So they was almost thought they was Bloods and Crips. Pittsburgh and Eastern Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, like 2 states. I don't know if you know that. They literally
was a baller.
Yeah, but so I had a good time there. But Natron, my host at Carolina was Natron and Thomas Smith.
Okay. And wow.
First night, I went out with Nate, and Nate took me to a grocery store right off of it's kind of like over where I used to live. It's like a Save Right down. I actually lived in an apartment, so down Airport Road maybe. It was just, it's not a grocery store no more, but it was kind of you come down Rosemary. And
I know you're talking about, yeah.
It was like a little grocery store. We got some parties and everything. They all knew Nate. It was like, hey, Nate, and went back to his house and played cards and had a good time though. It was if Felton was there and they was clowning and I was laughing. I had a blast. So and then the next day I was Smitty. It was just and it's my people. And then I saw this was pre-Peach Bowl, right? And then all of a sudden I see Peach Bowl and Carolina out there winning, they waving them towels. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going down there. That's
Bracey went off that game.
Yeah, no, Mississippi State, y'all cried. Bracey blocked a couple punts.
Blocked the punt. Yeah.
Everything about that was like, I want to be a part of that. So, and then, Coach Brown and Brewster, between them two, it's like, they make you feel like you're the greatest man in the world. So they took care of it. Carolina was the best decision. I definitely felt like, personally, professionally, picking Carolina was without a doubt one of the smartest decisions I ever made.
Oh, that's good.
Go ahead, Wall.
Good. All right. So the next question I'm gonna ask is a little outside the box, right? Competition-wise, right? Who did you feel was the most competition for you at Carolina during your time? We could be older, younger, or even in the same class.
Like competing against?
Yeah.
Well, it was always tough having to deal with, like I would say receiver-wise, it was like Freddie was a bit like I was tight end, so I had to cover Freddie, Crump, and then I'd go against you guys in one-on-one. But the one person you hated to see in any kind of one-on-one was Leon Johnson, man. Leon was tough. Like you had to cover his ass at the backfield.
Out the backfield.
Yeah, he could get open. And then if he catch it, he could run you over. He could move on you. Yeah, he was a problem. So Leon was a lot to deal with. It's just he didn't practice hard. So you know what I mean? You didn't have to like Leah be chilling. Leah be totally, like Coach Brown trying to pump him up. He gonna be there Saturday, Coach. He just he wanna give you every good thing he had. And then, but like inside, y'all had man, I had to tackle Malcolm Marshall. Man, Malcolm Marshall ran me over so bad one time. It was when I think it was when I first had saved there. Maybe it was that corner. And Malcolm ain't.
It was corner.
He ain't gonna make
he's
just
straight up and down. Straight up. Yeah.
And if you can get underneath him, you might can get him good. But if you don't like, he run. He ran through me.
Yeah. You remember Mo got me one time, hit me kneed me in the head, and I was done.
Yeah, we had some
big Mo. Them two big dudes, man.
Will, Malcolm. Yeah, no, that Will Henderson could run too if he.
Henderson should.
Will come in as a tailback.
Yeah, and then the thing is like he ended up being a Hall of Fame fullback. He should, to me, he should be in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? He may get there one day, but I'm saying like Will play like 14 years, 13, 14.
And was the lead blocker for like a top running back.
Right. Top running back all the time and protect him for far. I mean, he got a good case.
And then they had the other, it was two backs. Edgar Bennett on that team?
Yeah, Edgar Bennett. He went through a bunch of backs.
Yeah.
Dorsey Levens.
Had all of even.
Yeah. What's another question? Who got you involved with football, OB? Who got you involved?
That's the next one. Yes.
Probably my just my neighborhood family. My brother did it a little bit. He wasn't no good, but he would play. My older brother, so he would play. But I grew up like I remember I was a junkie. I was always been a sports junkie. Like back page of the sports section kind of guy. I know stats and even at Carolina, me and C. Watt and Jern, we go to arguing about like different things. They junkies too. It was a couple of guys that was just straight sports junkies. Yeah. So I was always the junkie. But like in my neighborhood, we would a lot of football, and then the little league was right there. So I remember I was I started to go be a manager. 6 years old, I would just go and be like the manager for the rookie team. And just like do the water boy shit, like
water boy stuff.
I knew once I started playing, I'm better than these. I'm fast. I would race them. They wouldn't even want to race me. I'm like, let's race. I was
You got it early, huh?
I was, it was so close and so present to like where we grew up. It was like you had to play. Everyone played football. I think everybody went out, and it was kind of a little community thing.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool. All right. Last thing. Critique the whole Belichick move. How do you think it's going to work out? How do you think it went as far as firing Mac Brown? What was your thoughts about that whole situation?
I mean, initially I was upset because I'm a Mac guy. Mac coach, I played for Mac. Mac kind of kept us feeling like you had a part of the program. You go back, you get kind of treated like, you felt like you could walk through the front door, right? And I played for Mac. You know what I mean? Mac knows me personally. So you feel like him being there, it gave us an in into the program, and then B was on the staff and Blah was on the staff. So there was some, little bit of like, we still got a lot going on with it. But looking back at it, I mean, you got an opportunity to hire somebody like Belichick, and from all the information I've heard right now from, anyone that's been able to be in and around him and meet with him, everyone seems to love it. It's going to give Carolina a bolt of energy at this point in time. Hitch, the way college sports is, it's you either got to be coming with like a lot of money or a lot of promise. You know what I mean? So you look at what Colorado brings to the table. They probably don't have the money some of these other schools have. At least they didn't initially. They may be getting it now because of what Deion's been able to do.
They got it now.
But he's been able to provide that promise, like what we can be, and show that. And I think Belichick rather has that. Like when he got hired, I was texting on our texter with the boys. It was a headline on CNN. If they hire any other football coach, it's not going to be on the scroll of CNN.
Right.
All right, Bill Belichick. Like it's not. He's that relevant. So he at least gets Carolina back into like the conversation. Right. And now it's all about how much can he capitalize on it. I think money has definitely got to be a part of it, because these folks, these kids, they give out. Girls basketball get $125,000 a kid. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, right?
All these kids are going to be making money, so it's going to come down to contracts. But I think Bill Belichick will be able to, if he can't pay you this much, he can kind of tell you what all the other things he can do that a smart kid's going to at least listen to that, because there's the end game is still the end game, right? You guys still keep the main thing. I'm going to college. Okay, I want to maybe make some money here and get my degree, but at the end of the day, I want to make it to the NFL. And who better for getting you to that than somebody like Bill Belichick? So I think as long as they can show that that's what they bring to the table, I think it's going to be success. And then the football piece of it's going to be what it's supposed to be, right? Because that's what he does. So
that's what he does.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting. I think so too. I think we get a lot of media, especially on the ESPN front. A lot of media, period.
And we got a brand, man. It's UNC is a brand. People know Carolina. You see Carolina, you watch a random movie, these commercials. It's the reason why they got Carolina Duke. They not just throwing, people know UNC. North Carolina, our colors were a brand. And now you put Belichick with that. hopefully he has enough grace that they allow him a year or two to get this thing rolling, and he has the energy to do that, because he is 72, 73 years old.
Yeah, he's displaying some energy. He's displaying that he got some energy, though.
Right? Yeah.
He got some youth around him.
Yeah, exactly. That's because he ain't have to deal with football.
There you go.
He got some youth around.
That energy gonna be like if he like 2 and 5, and she find out about players. Shit, Bill, be careful. Bill will keep her ass off campus. She gonna be out of players.
Listen. Oh, you fell for that, boy. Listen, he reeled you right on in.
Oh man, yeah.
In this time of this portal, right? And NIL. So with your situation at Carolina, do you think you would have hit the portal at any time?
I would have definitely from playing standpoint, I felt like I played where, in a good pace, you know what I mean? Who was in front of me. But if that money wasn't right, I'd have looked around. I got to got a call. Somebody was like, after that sophomore year when I made some plays, and somebody was like, hey, man. Yeah, I was like,
you have made some calls quick.
I love y'all and all, but hey.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the money they sling around these days, you gotta check it out.
I just hope they're doing something from a financial literacy piece. And I mean, you can't force the kids, because I remember when I went to the NFL, they give you weeks of that, and the symposium, all this. And as soon as I got that check, I went and bought me a big ass piece of jewelry. But I was at least a little. These young boys, I don't even know if I would have go to class, man. If I was sitting on $200,000 in a Dodge Charger, and you mean I got an 8 o'clock? What? Like how? They got to have someone explain to these kids.
I ain't going.
How to make, yeah,
Yeah, like
I'm ordering DoorDash.
right.
I ain't even going to
Right.
train the
I ain't
table.
even, I ain't going to the table. Yeah, I ain't even going to the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's great. I don't even know how it's working, man. It's
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. It's hey, they gotta be living the best life.
yeah.
You on campus with that bread?
Stay
Can
disciplined.
you imagine?
They stay disciplined. Put enough away that it's like we always say. Being an athlete, we realize not now paying for kids to go to college. We didn't have no college debt. I'm in the industry where I do financing, right?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Everybody got so much college debt. I'm like, God, and everyone's got thousands of college debt, and we have
Right.
nothing. So now you can couple that with a couple $100,000 in the bank if they do right. So you graduate college with no debt and a couple $100,000, and now you got such a jump and a head start on everybody else. So I just hope they got someone explain to these kids, like, okay, you have some fun, enjoy the fruits, you work for it, but stack this cash right now because you're on full scholarship. So you literally don't
have to pay for nothing.
Zero expenses.
Right. Expenses. No expenses.
So this is like all extra. So have somebody in there telling these kids if it's just put it in some kind of like spider fund, put it in QQQ and just let it sit for 4 years. You'll walk out there like, damn, I got some, and then you can make some plays.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, man. Well, this has been a great podcast. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk y'all to death. That's what
Omar Brown. No. We love it. We love it, man. We love being talked to death. That's what we on here. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna have you on again if you would like to come back on during the season. We're gonna have guys back on so we can talk about these moves that they're making and analyze the game and things like that. So we're gonna have guys back on to talk about that. We definitely want you back on, OB, because we know we can get good analysis from you. You know what I'm saying?
Talk my shit. All right, fellas. Love y'all, man. Be safe and stay out. Let's go Hills.
Let's go.
Look, remember, like, share,
and subscribe.
Yes, share, subscribe. Send us out. Shout out. I'm gonna tag it on all my socials.
That's what's up.
Next one, I'm making them do a workout with me. They're gonna come on my train. We in the gym. All right.
That's what's up.
I'm up for it. I'm up for it.
All right, that's what's up. All right, fellas.
Hold tight before you go, though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just hold tight. Just hold tight for about 2 minutes.
The recording has to catch up.
Okay.
Yeah. The sound has to catch up. So I'm gonna end it.